Hello my precious friends, I really hope that you're doing great. Welcome to today's class. It's our 7th lesson on a given form 4 mathematics topic called integration. So we are looking at our 10th example, which is a past cases equation tested in 202 paper 1 question number 20. It reads that the diagram below shows a straight line intersecting the curve at the points P and Q. The line also cuts the x-axis at 7, 0 and the y-axis at 0, 7. So part A of the question, we are required to find the equation of the straight line in the form y is equals to mx plus c. So of course, to find the equation of a line, we need 2 points on that particular line. So the 2 points are, we have this particular point here, which of course is 7, 0. Then we have another point here, which is 0, 7. So I'm going to use the given 2 points to find the equation of the straight line. So I'll pick the 2 points, that is 7, 0. Then of course the other point through which the line is passing is 0, 7. That is the x-intercept and the y-intercepts respectively. Now we know that the gradient of a curve is given by change in y over change in x. So the change in y will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So I'll let this to be x1 y1, then this to be x2 y2. So the gradient will be equal to my y2 of course will be 7, then minus y1 is 0 divided by my x2 will be 0 minus my x1 will be 7. So these will be equal to 7 over negative 7, which will simplify to negative 1. So I already have the gradient of my graph. So I'll pick one of the points. So I'll pick the first point here, that is 7, 0. Then I pick with a general point x, y. So of course this will be my x1. So I'll let this to be my x1, y1. Then this to be x2, y2. So that means the gradient of the curve, which is negative 1, should be equal to change in y, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So my gradient, so this is supposed to be equal to the gradient of my graph. So the gradient of course is negative 1, which will be equal to my y2 of course will be y. So I'll have y minus y1 is 0 divided by my x2 of course will be x, then minus x1 of course that will be 7. So that means that the equation of my straight line will be given by the following. So I'm gonna get the following. So I'll do cross multiplication. So this one will just multiply with that, then of course 1 with that. So I'll have negative 1 into x minus 7 being equal to 1 into y minus 0. So of course this will be negative 1x. Then of course negative will give me positive 7 being equal to 1 times y. I'll just get y. 1 times 0, I'll get 0. So that means my equation will be y is equals to negative 1x, then of course plus 7, which can also be rewritten as y is equals to negative x, then of course plus 7. Therefore, this is the equation of my straight line. So my straight line, its equation is y is equals to negative 1x, then of course plus 7. So you've answered part A of the question. Therefore, we move to part B of the question. Now in part B, they want us to get the coordinates of P and Q, the coordinates of P and Q. Remember, P and Q is representing the point of intersection of the graph and the curve. Therefore, we'll say at points P and Q, at the points P and Q, which are actually the points of intersection, the equation of the curve must be equal to the equation of the line. Therefore, at that particular point, I'll say the equation of the line, which we have gotten as negative 1x, then of course plus 7, must be equal to the equation of the curve, which is given as x, then of course minus 1 squared, then of course plus 4. At these particular points, because the two are sharing points P and Q, their equations must be equal. Therefore, I'll pick the second part of the equation, that is this one and this one, then I equate the two. It means that negative 1x, then of course plus 7 must be equal to x minus 1 squared, then of course plus 4. So I'm going to expand the second part here. So that means I'm going to have negative 1x, then of course plus 7 being equal to, if I expand this part, I'm going to have x into x minus 1, then of course minus 1 into x minus 1. Then of course there was a plus 4. So I'm going to add a 4 here. So this will be equal to negative 1x, then of course plus 7 being equal to, this will give me x squared, then of course minus x. This one will give me negative x, then of course plus 1, then plus 4. So clearly I'm going to have negative 1x, then of course plus 7 being equal to x squared. Then negative x minus x, I'll get negative 2x. 1 plus 4, I'm going to get a positive 5. So I can actually collect the like terms by taking the other terms to the right hand side. So I'll take this one to the right hand side, this one and this other term here. So I'm going to remain with 0 being equal to x squared, then of course minus 2x, then plus 5, then of course plus 1x, then of course minus 7. So that means 0 will be equal to x squared. This one and this will give me negative 1x, or simply negative x. Then positive 5 minus 7, I'm going to get a negative 2. That will give me negative 2. So this equation can be written as x squared, then minus 1x, then of course minus 2 is equals to 0. So we can solve this quadratic equation so that we can get the exact values of x at the point of intersection, which are the points P and Q. So this is our quadratic. So we can solve the quadratic. This is in the form ax squared, then of course plus bx, then plus c is equals to 0. So of course the coefficient will be 1. So clearly the value of the product will be equal to AC, which will give us the A is 1, then of course the C is negative 2. So 1 times negative 2, of course this will give us negative 2. Then the sum is the value of B, which clearly will be equal to negative 1. So my B is negative 1. So the factors here, I'm going to have a 2 into 2, of course that will be 1. So my factors will be 1 and 2. So my numbers are 1 and 2. So if I take 1 multiplied by negative 2, I'll get negative 2. So I need a negative in the sum. So for me to achieve that, I'll have to get a negative on the 2. So that 1 times negative 2, I'll get negative 2. Then 1 plus negative 2, I'll get a negative 1. Therefore, I'll substitute in my equation. So the first term was x squared. So this will be 1x squared, or simply x squared. Then plus, I'm going to have a 2. That is, I have 1 and negative 2. So this is 1 minus 2. Then, of course, I have x. Then I complete my equation. There was a negative 2. So minus 2 is equals to 0. So clearly, this is 1x squared. Then, of course, this will be plus 1x. Then minus 2x. Then minus 2. Which should be equal to 0. So minus 2 is equals to 0. So I'll factor out the common term here, of course, will be x. So I'll have x into, this will be x, then plus 1. Then I'll factor out negative 2, which is common. So I'll have negative 2 into x plus 1 being equal to 0. So I pick this one and this to form my first bracket, which is x minus 2. Then the second bracket will be x plus 1 being equal to 0. So this one means that either x minus 2 is equals to 0. So clearly x will be equal to positive 2. Or it also means that x plus 1 is equals to 0, which implies that x will be equal to negative 1. Therefore, these are the values of x at the points P and Q. But remember, they want us to get the coordinates. A coordinate is made up of the values of x and y. Therefore, remember, I can use any of the equation. I can use either the equation of the curve or the equation of the line. The answers will be the same. So I'll say when x is equals to positive 2, the equation of y was, let me use the equation of the line. So we got the equation of the line as negative 1x, then of course plus 7. This was the equation of our line. Remember, you can also use the equation of the curve. The answers will be the same. So y will be equal to negative 1x. My x is now 2, then of course plus 7. So this will be equal to negative 2 plus 7, which clearly will give us a positive 5. Therefore, it means one of the coordinates will be 2, 5. So we'll have 2, 5 as one of the coordinates. Then we are going to say that when now x is equals to negative 1, y will be equal to negative 1 into x, which is negative 1, then of course plus 7. So I'm just substituting in this equation. I've said that you can also use the equation of the curve. The answers will be the same. So y will be equal to negative will give me positive 1, then plus 7. So y will be equal to 8. It means that the other coordinate will be x is negative 1 when y, of course, is 8. Now we need to identify these particular coordinates. So from our graph, we can see that P is going to lie on the negative side. This one is lying on the negative side of the x-axis, whereas Q is lying on the positive side. So it means that the coordinate having a negative value of x, that will be the coordinate that we are saying it is P. So of course this will be P, simply because its x coordinate is negative, and we can see from the drawn graph, the P is lying on the negative side of the x-axis. Then Q is likely to have a positive value of x, and of course the coordinate having the positive value of x is this one here. Therefore, this is the coordinate of Q. Therefore, we were required to find the coordinates of P and Q. So for Q is 2, 5, then for P is negative 1, 8. Then we check part C of the question, whereby we are told to calculate the area of the shaded region. So of course the shaded region is the region bounded between the curve and the line. Therefore, for us to get the shaded area, so we'll say the shaded area will be equal to the total area, which will be equal to the area below the line. So the area under the line, so this will be equal to the area below the line, then minus the unshaded area. The unshaded area will be this area below the curve. So minus the area below the curve, the curve. So remember, the area below the line is representing the total area. This is what we mean by area below the line. The whole of this area, the area below the line, is representing the total area. Then the area below the curve is representing the unshaded area. So remember, if you want to get the total area, you take the, that is, if you want to get the shaded area, you take total area minus the unshaded area. So the area below the line is representing the total area, then the area below the curve is representing the unshaded. This is the unshaded area. Remember, if the curve was above and the line below, we will have taken the area of the curve minus that of the line. So for us to achieve that, we are going to subtract the two areas. We'll subtract first of all the equation of the line and that of the curve, so that we can, when we integrate it, we'll get the area below the curve. So the shaded area will be represented by, we take the area of, that is the equation of the line. The equation of the line was y is equals to negative 1x plus 7. So we had y, so this is y is equals to negative 1x, then of course plus 7. This was the equation of the line. Then we are going to subtract the equation of the curve, which was given as y is equals to x, that is 1 minus x, that is x minus 1 squared plus 4. So this was x minus 1 squared, then of course plus 4. So this was the equation of the curve. So that means we are having y is equals to negative 1x, then of course plus 7. Then we want to subtract with. Remember when we expanded this part, we got this. The expansion gave us this one here. So we got it as x squared minus 2x plus 5. No, the expansion of, it was x squared minus 2x then plus 5. So this was the expansion of this part, x squared minus 2x, then of course plus 5. That is what we got as the expansion of this part, then of course added to 4. So if I subtract these two equations, it means that I'm going to have the following. So I'll only pick this one and this one here, because of course the y's are going to cancel out. So it means that I'm having y is equals to negative 1x, then of course plus 7. I want to subtract from y is equals to, this was x squared, then of course minus 2x, minus 2x, then of course plus 5. So this implies that the value of x squared was actually 0. It means the coefficient was 0. So this was 0x squared. That is why there was no need of writing it. Remember, we are subtracting the two equations. So when we subtract, this is what we are going to have. Y minus y will get 0, which is equals to 0x squared. So 0x squared minus x squared. This will give you 0 minus x squared, which will give you a negative x squared. So this will be negative x squared. Then on the second term, we are having negative 1x minus a negative 2x. Minus minus will give us plus. So this will end up with a 1x, or simply put x. So this will be a plus 1x, a plus 1x, or simply put a plus x. Then we are having 7 minus a 5. Of course, this will give us a positive 2. So this one is giving us a positive 2. So it means that when we subtract the two equations, this is what we are going to end up with. So we are going to get negative x squared, then of course plus 1x, or simply put plus x, then of course plus 2. So to get the shaded area, we are going to integrate the area which is being represented by the subtraction of the two, that is the two curves, that is the line and the curve. Therefore, the shaded area will be equal to, we are going to integrate the equation negative x squared, then of course plus 1x, then of course plus 2 with respect to x. But the question is, what are our limits of integration? The limits of integration will be represented by the x coordinates of the point of intersection of the two line, that is, and the curve. So the curve and the line are intersecting at points P and the points Q. Therefore, the limits of integration will be the x coordinate of P and the x coordinate of Q. The x coordinate of P, of course, was 2. Then the x coordinate of P, that is for P, was negative 1. Then for Q was 2. So it means our limit of integration will be from negative 1 up to 2. So those are our limits of integration. So negative 1 up to positive 2. So on integrating, this is what you are going to have. So of course, when you integrate, we usually introduce the box brackets. So the integral will be equal to, so we'll have the box bracket. So this will be negative x. When you integrate, you add 1 to the power, then divide by the new power, plus 2 plus 1. Then of course plus, we integrate the second term. This will be 1x to the power of, it means this was power 1. So it was 1, we add 1 to the power, divide by the new power. Then plus, this one means it was x power 0. So this will be 2x to the power of 0. We add 1 to the power, then divide by the new power. Then of course the limits was from negative 1 up to 2. So this is negative 1 up to positive 2. So this will be equal to the following. So this is negative x to the power of 3 divided by 3. Then of course plus this will be x to the power of 2 divided by 2, then plus 2x. Then of course this is negative 1 up to 2. So we'll start by substituting the upper limit, which is positive 2. So this will be equal to, we substitute the upper limit. So this will be negative, then into, the limit is 2. So 2 power 3 divided by 3. Then of course plus, the limit is still 2. So we'll have 2 squared divided by 2. Then plus 2 into positive 2. Then we substitute the lower limit, which is negative 1. So this will be minus negative into negative 1 cubed, then of course of 3, then plus negative 1 squared, then of course over 2, then plus 2 into negative 1. So this will give us the following. So of course this will be negative 2 cubed, of course that will be 8. So we'll have negative 8 over 3, then plus 2 squared, that is 4 over 2. So this will be 4 over 2, then plus 2 by 2, of course I'll get 4. Then close the bracket, then I'll have minus into bracket, negative 1 cubed will be negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 1, I'll get a positive 1 over 3. Then of course plus negative 1 squared, I'll get positive 1 over 2. Then 2 times negative 2, that is 2 times negative 1, I'll get a negative 2. So you feed this on the calculator, negative 8 over 3 plus 4 over 2 plus 4, your calculator will give you 10 over 3. Then of course minus a third plus a half minus 2, your calculator will give you negative 7 over 6. So on simplification, we are going to have 10 over 3. So let me complete it from this side here. So we're going to have 10 over 3. So our shaded area will be equal to 10 over 3. Then of course minus 7 over 6. So this will be 10 over 3. Minus will give us plus 7 over 6. So you feed this on the calculator, your calculator will give you 4.5 square units, because this is area, 4.5 square units. Therefore the shaded area will be equal to 4.5 or 4.5 square units. Remember, the same area can also be gotten by integrating the line minus the integral of the curve through the same limits. You can also get the area by integrating the line, then minus the integral of the equation of the curve through the same limits. The limits were negative 1 up to 2 through negative 1 up to 2. You're going to get the same answer of 4.5. But of course, this is the shortcut. So thank you very much for accompanying me until the end of this particular lesson. I do not take it for granted. In case you're new to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll get notified. Until next time, this is Kind Tuition Academy. Thank you very much.